This is the third episode, and we are very proud and privileged to have Dr. Rohit Sani from Madhav Bagh. And the whole idea of Open Minds is to provide a platform for entrepreneurs, professionals, and anybody in general who would like to aspire for greater heights by opening their minds and being open to all the suggestions and opening to all the learnings that others may have to offer. Madhav Bagh is a multidisciplinary cardiac care clinic and hospital chain. They have successfully established themselves as a dependable option for treating heart ailments, treatments that don't just heal ailing hearts but also strengthen them. Their ideology, whatever it takes. It is a promise from the brand of doing everything possible to provide the best cardiac care to patients. A team of dedicated doctors from fields of modern medicine, Ayurveda, diet, and physiotherapy guides the patients on the process of a better heart health. In short, they do whatever it takes to ensure that the patients live a happy, productive life without the worry of a heart disease. They have 120 centers, 2 hospitals, and over 1 lakh successfully treated patients. And these statistics truly establish them in the field of cardiac care.
Good evening. Myself, Nikhil Ballard, on behalf of 10 and Know Your Town, I welcome you all to the third edition of Open Mind. Well, today we have with us a man who is not just a doctor but also a successful entrepreneur. Doctor, you deal with hearts, and we have read your book, Hriday Sparshi Madhav Bagh. Literally, I can be very honest with you, while reading the book, my heart was in my mouth. The kind of challenges that you have faced and how you have overcome is really stupendous, and I request you to open your heart completely in front of this August gathering, because I'm sure once they hear all your experiences, I'm sure you will win all their hearts. So let's begin. Doctor, to begin with, I would like to know, how did this idea struck you that Ayurveda can replace allopathy treatment? How did you conceptualize the entire concept of Madhav Bagh?
According to me, for me, Ayurveda, allopathy, homeopathy, everything sits on the same stage. Nothing is better than anything or nothing is worse than anything. It's just what is strong in what area and what is to be incorporated with what was the basic idea that was there in my mind.
Like, people are ready to experiment with other organs, it may be any other organ, but when heart is concerned, people are not ready to experiment. So how did you instill the confidence among the patients? How did you create awareness? Because still, Ayurveda is considered as a proto-science or a trans-science system.
Absolutely. As you said, people are not ready to, or else were not ready to experiment for their hearts as such. Because it's a question of life and death. Nobody will be able to experiment on it, because once he experiments and it fails, he'll no more be there to experiment the next step.
Right.
So obviously nobody would like to experiment. Yes, you are absolutely right. Right now also, this is a very common thing that has been seen. When patients come to us, they are always in a limbo, what is to be done exactly, whether I should go for this therapy, whether I should not go for this therapy. Many a times people say first I'll get my angioplasty done, first I'll get my bypass surgery done, फिर बाद में ये कर लूँगा, फिर मेरे को अगर वक्त मिला तो मैं कर लूँगा, वगैरह वगैरह. These are normal terms that we listen to these things, and we are just, I guess, 10 years old. So 10 years, what I try to do is, how do I try to overcome this thing is, I just follow the footsteps of allopathy. Like, for example, why do we believe in angioplasty and bypass today? Is there was nobody else than angioplasty and bypass to compare with. Today you have something to compare with, hence you try to compare these two things.
Doctor, your core competence is medical skills. But then still, how were you able to create a business module out of it? How did you visualize such kind of a business module can stand out?
You are right, my core competency is medical science. But God knows, some things have helped me.
But doctor, 2 hospitals, and more than about 165 centers now, and you have treated more than 1 lakh patients till now. I'm sure that may not be that smooth like how you are telling us right now. So what were the teething problems at the initial stages that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Right. The first teething problem was this कि 165 को उतार के 120 पे ला दिया. What happens now? As an entrepreneur, we are always hungry for growth. Many a times we can say immaturity. Many a times it could be said that not correct decisions. I would not say wrong decisions. Incorrect decisions many a times have been taken. Like for example, when this franchising concept came inside, many of the franchise owners did not deserve having that franchise clinics with them. But by some or the other way, the franchise clinics were, because we did not have any typical criteria as such. We were in a budding phase. We did not have any typical criteria as such कि इसी को franchise देंगे, इसको नहीं देंगे, वगैरह वगैरह. Nothing was planned as such. Now when we have evolved, we have typical criteria, typical baselines कि नहीं, these people will not be given franchise, हाँ इसको देंगे वगैरह वगैरह. Now we have learnt a lot. But this was the most important teething problem of getting 165 to 120. Basic first thing was realizing this, that these people don't deserve it. This was the first pain. Second, reducing from 165 to 120 was the most dreadful, most biggest nightmare that I could have ever seen, because getting down that number and breaking the relationships was more painful.
Sir, you have given Ayurveda a very corporate look. Like the science has really improved a lot when we go to the clinic and when we see it, actually we witness. So how have you embedded the technology to grow business? You also created an app recently in Thane which was inaugurated by the mayor itself. So can you throw some light on the technology part?
As what I said in my first question, why Ayurveda did not pick up was due to lack of technology. If at all I want Ayurveda to be picked up to that level, because if at all Ayurveda space grows, then preventive cardiology space grows, and then Madhavbag space grows. So if at all I have to grow the space for Madhavbag, I have to grow the space for Ayurveda.
In today's fast pace of life, usually in Mumbai, Thane or in cities basically, people expect quick results. And Ayurveda, people feel is not that kicking or alive, or it takes a lot of patience. So is it a problem for you, and how do you overcome that?
It was a problem. As what you asked, it is very true that people expect quick results. Why would we call people? I also expect quick results. And this was a challenge that if at all you don't deliver quick results, you are out of the race. So this was a huge challenge that we have to deliver quick results. The answer on this challenge was deliver it. There is no other way out. If at all you have to be in the race, you have to deliver quick results. Now, initially people used to think about this that initially, abhi bhi people believe in this that Ayurveda acts very slow at such. But I'll give you a few examples. Like for example, anybody of us, because this thing is getting elongated after question and question, some people have had something as starters. But if at all you must have not had anything and somebody would have fallen down due to hypoglycemia. हम लोग क्या डालते मुंह में? The person immediately comes back. So sugar, whether it's Ayurvedic or allopathic,
Natural.
so it's Ayurvedic, obviously.
Right.
So if at all, sugar has got that person back in action in few seconds, that means Ayurveda works faster.
My question is on the business model itself. 100,000 patients in last 10 years, that's what we heard in the beginning. You are having 120 clinics. That gives about 20 weekly or 2.5 patients per day. Going ahead from the growth point of view, is it going to be sustainable? Related to that, general perception is that the age profile of patients going to Madhavbag or even otherwise for the heart ailment, it's a 60 plus, that's what is our bias means. What is your focus going ahead for catering to the population in their 40s?
Okay, that's the question. Okay, so there are two questions as such. One is about the business model, and second is about the 40s people. How are we going to cater them?
Interconnection of both.
Yes. For the business model to sustain, as I told earlier, this business model would have not sustained if at all the expenses part would have gone up. I have tried to keep the expense as low as possible. The initial investment also is quite less. And talking about this, right now every month we deal with about 25,000 people in all the clinics every month. So needs some amount of nourishment, and it's going to improvise. Talking about still increasing the number of clinics, if at all such a low number of 2 patients coming down every day, yes, that is going to be a problem. We'll have to gear up ourselves to increase the footfall inside the clinics so that the model becomes sustainable. But till now, if at all we see that the model is very well sustained by the franchise owners also. After paying a good royalty to the company, still they have sustained their business model. So, if you understand the whole economic structure of the whole business model, you will be completely satisfied that yes, this business model is going to stay for lifetime.
Honorable guest, Dr. Rohit Sane, KYDMD, Mr. Nikhil Ballard, founder member of 10, Mr. Deepak Kapoor, dear tenors, and all the esteemed visitors present here today. On behalf of 10, I, Rahul Amrute, the current chairman, supported by our secretary, Mrs. Sandhya Iyer Bide, our relationship manager, Mr. Paras Shah, and the core team, sincerely thank you all wholeheartedly for your overwhelming support at the third meet of Open Minds today. I very well recollect my first interaction with Dr. Sane at his Thane back office. A young, rather calm, composed personality took me by surprise instantly. I had seen his pictures many times, but it was different to see him in person. When I say different, I mean I found it hard to relate his age with his achievements. And we take pride, sir, today to have you with us.